Don't you feel like many of the watches nowadays look the same? Well, it's no surprise because most of them are round watches. So one company wanted to go the other route, make a square watch. No, we're not talking about the Apple Watch here. We're talking about the Sonar Watch. Sonar? Sonar? We're talking about the Sonar Watch. Now, were they able to accomplish what they sought out to do? Let's find out. This video is brought to you by Sonar Sweden. The sonar momentum comes in at 37mm wide and 47mm of lug-to-lug distance. The thickness is just 11mm with a 50-meter water resistance. Inside this beefy case is a Miyota 9039 movement that beats at 28,800 bph and ticks at 42 hours of power reserve. The materials are expected with the stainless steel and sapphire crystal. This is what we know so far for the prototype version that we're about to review. There will be a list of changes before the production run, such as the AR coating, improved water resistance, better lume, and larger indexes. The momentum is straight up one hefty and large watch. Square watches typically pulls your visual perception outwards to the corners, but the momentum adds the broad sides to its impression. The dial pleasingly aligns with the strap while the rest of the watch case projects sideways, giving this a very imposing wrist presence. Operating the Miyota 1939 movement is simple and easy. Pull out the crown and set the time. The second-hand hacks that can be used for accurate time settings. There is no tread to the case, so the neutral crown position is for winding the mainspring and charging the watch's power reserve. On the wrist, it just occupies a large realty space, and it's definitely something you won't forget that it's on your wrist. My 6¼ inch cuff certainly felt overwhelmed. Add the considerably long leather strap and it's pretty clear that this one is not for smaller wrists. Thankfully, you can swap out the straps easily with quick-release spring bars. The brand's own Milanese bracelet is the best option for us smaller folks. It has a snap buckle system that reminds me of Casio's mesh bracelets. You can move the clamp part to any position on the bracelet to precisely wrap your wrist. On the mesh bracelet, an extra touch of class is surely felt with its fine finishing. This same finishing is also applied on the case with its polished surface taking advantage of all the rounded chamfers. The whole case is fully polished, however, making me long for some textural variation. That texture can be found on the signed leather strap that's premium feeling and quite supple to the skin. At the end of this strap is a polished butterfly deployant clasp that works well enough for its price point. It also has a snap hinge pin buckle to secure the strap to your desired size. The buckle is signed with the brand logo to further enforce its identity. It's fun to play with its versatile strap options to match whatever mood you're in. Under a more powerful lens, there's still some things to observe despite its seemingly simple design. It certainly helped that the dial is pretty clean with minimal text. The attention gets directed to the fine bracelet. Back to the sides of the case, and it's apparent that it's rather plain. I agree with Sonar on having this crown signed to provide visual interest. Behind the case is a screwed-on solid plate with the usual markings and even a motivational message. Proper design motivation is seen on the dial. The applied indexes delivers adequate light play. The slanted design is a good reminder of Cartier Roman numerals without being too similar. The hands are probably my favorite parts of the watch. The square tips of the hands are similar enough to bring the design together for both the hands and case. It's a good decision as well to keep the looms only on the hands rather than compete for attention with loomed indexes. It's a bold watch in shape and profile, but reserved and uncluttered in details. Sonar aimed for a more timeless design direction with the goal of passing this watch down to the next generation. The watch certainly could last up until then with its tank-like heft and easily serviceable movement. With our current generation's nostalgic sentiments, even my boys would certainly consider the momentum. But one of the biggest considerations for Sonar, however, is something we haven't talked about yet: its price. This currently has a Kickstarter price of just under $200, over $100 less than your typical microbrand price. It is different, something deliberately decided on by the founder in its very inception. The momentum manages to not feel like any other microbrand out there with its retro feel and oversized proportions. It does have the quality and virtues that you can pass down to the next generation.
Most watch companies start with a round watch, but one company decided to go the other route and they made a square watch. I don't even have a watch on, my goodness. So let's get. Oh my goodness.